single box jump overs, while you do 3 calories on the rower, 5 calories on the assault bike, 7 wall balls, 9 toes to bar, 11 push-ups, 12 kettlebell swings, 15 deadlifts with 2 dumbbells of opposite weights, 17 calories on the skier, 19 pistols, which doesn't make sense because it's a random number, and then 21 more box jumps, because you start with box jumps, you gotta do 21 more box jumps. It's also gonna be a 45-minute MRAP. So if I don't like Taylor's program, I will be critical about it. Yo, today we are going to be talking about Taylor Self and the Self-Made Training Program, SMTP, the Suck My Tiny Penis Training Program. And I felt like I owed Taylor a little bit of chatter because I poked at him a little bit when I put up a reel on my Instagram.
I have a question for this comment real quick. It's pissing me off. I gotta respond. Has fucking Justin LaFranco ever made it to the CrossFit Games? And to be fair.
Well, to be fair.
Oh, don't say to be fair. Hate when people say to be fair. It sounds like to be fair.
Well, to be fair.
This is why I'm responding, because I'm the only one who's targeted in this comment, because JR has been in the games. This just shows how stupid this is.
A few minutes later.
Being sensitive ruins everything. Just to fucking pause it. Like.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, it was him talking about sensitivity. He was on the Savant podcast. He was doing the not top 10. I was watching it, and I picked up on the fact that he didn't like sensitive people, but right before that, he liked to yank a comment out where he was, being a little bit sensitive, or so I thought, whatever. So I spent $20 on his training program, and I went into the thing, and I wanted to do a little bit of talking about it, and I have a handful of things to address in relation to Taylor Self's training program. So I brought it up. It's on a platform called futher, FITR, and it's a platform that I'm not very familiar with, so that would be something in its own to kind of talk about. And it's rather smooth as far as looking at what the workouts are. So I got the workouts here. He's got 2 tracks. He's an orange training track and a blue training track. And the orange training track is for people who are kind of knee-deep competitor. It looks and appears to be like a semifinal. And I don't know why I'm saying this, because I believe if I click on the link in his bio, futher SMTP, Suck My Tiny Penis Training Program, it tells you right here that the orange track is a general physical preparedness program for competitive athletes looking to break into the semifinal level, which is exactly what I just said. So that's cool. I could look at it and I figured that's what it was, but it also says so in the description right there. It's got 3 to 4 parts, 2 to 2.5 hours a day, accessory work, warm up, cool down. Cool. He's got a blue track, and this I can tell you from looking at it. Before I look at it and I read what it says right there, I'm going to guess that it is for the more general population, and it still kind of roughly aligns with the orange track. Let's look. It's a general physical preparedness program for the everyday athlete. Cool. I could tell by looking at it and now by reading this thing over here. 1 to 2 parts that can be completed in 60 minutes or less. What is the SMTP methodology? Prioritizes general physical preparedness. That is the foundation of an effective training template. Most importantly, I emphasize movement quality and efficiency over everything. It is built to go towards the open and the quarterfinals. The Metcon and conditioning focuses primarily on variations of couplets and triplets. It is a fact that you will be tested on your ability to complete couplets and triplets at intensity during the open and quarterfinals. So he says that, but I also want to point out the fact that Taylor Self is a level 3 CrossFit certified trainer, and there are not very many of those. When I was talking to Jason Ackerman wanted to inform me that I believe that there are about 50 level 4s. Anybody who had to re-up their level 1 kind of became a level 2, and you have to go out of your way to become a level 3, and Taylor Self has done that. This is something that you can pick up upon if you listen to him chatter on the Savant podcast. He's rather well informed when it comes to programming, and I think Savant even the other day said that he has had 500 or so episodes, and it's been kind of a process to him now coming to choosing JR and Taylor to be kind of his mental training program people, where he likes to talk to them about everything because they have their heads in a good spot about all this. Before I even looked at the training program, when you bring up certain people to me, and Taylor Self could be one of those people, I have an idea about them before I even met Taylor on the Savant podcast. What I knew about Taylor is that he was a madman. I thought that he needed to work on his strength a little bit, but when it came to endurance work, he could blow you out of the fucking water. I heard him say not too long ago that he was a little bit overweight and he was trying to lose that weight, and one of the things that he did is he pissed himself while he was running.
I pissed my pants once on a long run, and it was on purpose. It was like I used to have this thing where like I wouldn't stop running, and if I stopped to walk, I was quitting. This was like back when I was fat, before I was like in good shape, so I was like trying to shed the pounds. Like, if you walk, you're a fucking pussy. So I'm like running on this run, and it's taking me 7 minutes to try to pee while I'm running running. And finally, it was raining too. So it wasn't like it was, I was soaking wet from the rain, but I was also like, I have to pee, but I don't want to stop. And anyways, that's my experience.
I was also overweight, but when it comes to grunt work, when it comes to becoming really well conditioned, it's like that switch that I think that he has, which is like, fuck it, I'm just going to piss myself while I'm running. If we want to look at Taylor's competitive history, looks like he started the Open in 2017 where he finished 6,000th place, and he's finished as high in the Open as 49th in 2021. In the quarterfinals, he finished 74th in 2021 and 36th this past year in 2022. He did not compete at the semifinals this year because I think he's got a knee injury. He had a whole bunch of shit taken out of his knee. It looked like wires and shit and a giant bolt. He's on the mend. He's getting back into good shape, but the year previous, he was just a handful of spots out of qualifying out of the Granite Games, and if I recall, he was in the last chance qualifier, and he was also very close to making it out of there as well. And my presupposition, at least in relation to his deadlift, was correct. When it comes to the Metcons and his mental fortitude, he is a fucking monster, but his deadlift is dog shit. And why am I telling you about all of these things? Well, when you look at the way that someone competes and their state of mind,
Pack is a state of mind.
you almost have a pretty good idea into their programming methods. So I have looked pretty deep into the Matt Frazier training program, the HWPO training program, and what you see is a handful of what you had seen as he was training on his Instagram stories and maybe the tidbits he had spoken about in his book. There's a shitload of EMOMs. There are certain weightlifting things that he would do. I made a video like this kind of in relation to the Rich Froning training program, the Mayhem whatever program, whatever track you might follow. What you'll see is a lot of volume, lots of gymnastics work, not exclusive but rather specific weightlifting work that they did. They would either kind of very closely work with Mike Bergner, or they would be doing something that you've seen them kind of do throughout the tenure that you may have followed Rich Froning with. So you look at what the athlete had done in the past, and then you kind of have an idea what they might be making you do if you were to sign up for that program. For example, if you were to sign up for the Ryan Fisher program, naturally what made him the best athlete ever was doing a shitload of single box jump overs while you do 3 calories on the rower, 5 calories on the assault bike, 7 wall balls, 9 toes to bar, 11 push-ups, 12 kettlebell swings, 15 deadlifts with 2 dumbbells of opposite weights, 17 calories on the skier, 19 pistols, which doesn't make sense because it's a random number, and then 21 more box jumps, because you start with box jumps, so you gotta do 21 more box jumps. It's also going to be a 45-minute AMRAP. So if I don't like Taylor's program, I will be critical about it. I was critical about the Chalk training program. I think that anybody who wants to be knee-deep into the CrossFit world would not be doing themselves a service if you were to sign up for the Chalk program. I think that the Mayhem program is good. It looks like the Hard Work Pays Off program is pretty good. I'm a bigger fan of their athlete tracks than I am for the affiliate program, but the affiliate programming isn't bad. And when I look at the self-made training program, what I see is a shitload of hard work put into it. It's almost like he's pissing his pants running, trying to write this program. And what do I mean by that? Well, I asked Taylor if he had anything on the back end, and what he showed me was that he had this written up from June all the way until September. Now, when I program, I go week by week, and I've said it that in my training program, I kind of have an idea where I'm going with it. I know where I want to do on the month. I know what I want to do with that 3-month bracket. I know what I want to do over the course of the year. You call those like meso and micro cycles if you really want to, but I don't like to say that. We're just working on things short and long term. And when it comes to Taylor, he actually has those things all written out. He doesn't just have the workouts written out. He has the intentions written out. He has the lifting focus. He has the time domains of the specific workouts written out. He has the strategies and the approach to those workouts written out. It's something that I thought I may have been the only one to do. And in every Wodify write-up that I have, he uses Fitter, F-I-T-R. I use Wodify. I type in, it's like, this is what I want you to do. This is what the toes to bar should look like. This is what the chest to bar should look like. And there's a workout that he does rather recently. It's called Daniel. It's a hero workout for his orange track, which we have talked about. He scales up the orange track. They're doing chest to bar pull-ups. There are 50 of them. And in his, where the fuck did that go? Finish the remaining pull-ups with regular pull-ups and just kind of move out of the chest to bar pull-ups, because every single workout should be done with an intention, which is why the workouts like Chalk that I mentioned earlier don't make any sense, because I don't know what you're trying to do when you just pull out every single piece of equipment and then you say you're doing random shit. Just because it's hard doesn't mean that it's practical or good or progressive. But when you look at something like this, where he says, all right, we're going to take a hero workout, which is very embedded into CrossFit, the workout Daniel, and then you say that, hey, we're going to scale this up for our orange track, because the orange track has the end goal down the road of going to the semifinals. So you should be very well accustomed to doing sets of 50 chest to bar pull-ups. We're going to scale up the weight on the thruster, so we're at 115. If you look at the blue track on this day, and I think this is from the 8th of August, you can see that they're doing 50 pull-ups. The thruster weight is 95-65. On the orange track, the higher level track, it's 115 and 75. He's got warm-ups and cooldowns included in there. You can see that he has this broken down into microcycles. So on week 1, he goes, okay, we're going to do our 8 back squats here, and we will be adding on this every single week. Again, I thought I may have been the only person to do this sort of thing where it's like, hey, we did a 4 rep backs front squat. Now, we're going to start our back squats off of the back of those heavy front squats. So we're just going to start and we're going to build. So we hit a heavy 4 front squat. Now we're going to do an 8 rep back squat at that weight. And then for the next couple of weeks, we're going to add upon that. And then if I were to guess, let's see if he has it. Once you finish up those back squats, final week of these 8 rep back squats, you are going to have 4 attempts to find a heavy 8 RM back squat. And that is, of course, at the end of a cycle, California hormones. But the biggest thing to point out about the self-made training program is that he has put so much time into this. And you can tell that he cares. And I'm actually a big fan of his accessory work. So there are a lot of people who are asking for, what can I do to increase my gymnastics? What can I do to increase my gymnastics? All the fucking time they're asking. And if you were to sign up for the self-made training program, it appears that on Tuesdays, here we go, on the orange track, this Tuesday, the 30th, coming up, you got to do 4 sets for quality of 5 weighted strict chin-ups followed by 10 strict tempo ring dips. You don't see that very often in very many programs. And then if you were to go to the focus of the strength, perform a 3-second negative with a 3-second hold at the bottom and a 3-second hold in the support. For the pull-up, focus on initiating each pull by pulling your shoulders and elbows down and back. For the dips, keep the elbows tight and stacked. Shoot to hold a challenging weight across all 4 sets for the movements. That right there is something that you don't get in very many places, and you're going to get all of this shit for $20 a month. Now you think, Andrew, you're just fluffing up your buddy on the Sevon podcast. It's one of those things where I wouldn't really like to put up with him if I knew that this wouldn't have been good in the first place. And the last thing that I have to say about this is that this stuff is kind of sort of proven. See what I did there? Not anything to do in relation to Tia and Shane and the proven training community, but what I mean by proven is that the dude used to work out with Jason Hopper. The dude almost made the CrossFit Games. The dude works out and has a very similar mind to J.R. Howell. I believe that they're really close to one another. They're all very smart. JR's been to the games. Hopper just had his best year at the games, and if Taylor wasn't beat up in the knees, I think that he would be at and performing rather high level at the games. It's just like the CrossFit Mayhem people. If you were to go over to CrossFit Mayhem, you have a pretty good chance of being spat out the other end as a better athlete for it. I think if you sign up for the self-made training program, the SMTP, the Suck My Tiny Penis training program, and you actually stick to it and you do everything that you're supposed to do, and you look at the lifting focus, and you look at the intent and the stimulus, and you look at the time domains, the strategy and the approach, the equipment substitutes, the movement scales and the loading scales, you will come out the other end as a better athlete. So I'm going to try to remember to throw the link into my description in this video if you want to check this thing out. I think you got a free week or something like that, and it's $20 a month after that as well. The platform is futher. It makes it pretty easy to see everything. You can see the notes that he puts in for the workouts and shit. Oh shit, I left out the fact that he's got CrossFit gymnastics certifications along with weightlifting, numerous CEUs, and 5,000 hours of coaching experience, all of which is necessary to hold that CrossFit Level 3 training certificate. Have you tried out the Taylor Self-Made training program? If you have, let me know what you think. Otherwise, stay in the comments section on the live Sevon videos and keep on poking at him because, of course,
being sensitive ruins everything.
Taylor doesn't like sensitive people. Andrew Hiller, out.